Hey, welcome to the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. I am your host, Iona Meade, at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona. And today it is Environmental Freedom Thursday. So today's theme is teaching online and traveling while you teach as a spiritual entrepreneur. And I have got to say, your girl is very high vibe today, and I might burst into song. So brace yourself. All right. So this podcast is this YouTube podcast. If you're watching on the Soul Legacy TV, then welcome. I'm waving at you. If you're listening on the Soul Legacy TV on the podcast platforms, then welcome. So what I am going to do is break down this YouTube podcast. It is a very practical podcast for you to come and journal with me daily, right, on these themes, and come back and hold yourself accountable for raising your own vibrational frequency to the level that you wish to witness in the world. And I talk about living an intentional life and how living an intentional life means setting intentions that are in alignment with your vision, your big vision, and your mission, and aligning your movement, your message, and your money. And I love it. And I'm hoping that my sound is all good, because I forgot to put my headphones on, but I'm hoping it's all good. I might even plug them in. Let me just do this in case, because I know the headphones work. So just bear with me. I might actually start to sing a song just to make sure the sound is okay. Sound now. Hopefully the switching of the sound, it's still okay. I might have then. Oh, well. All right. So let's break down this podcast. We are visualizing, we're journaling in 8 segments is where I break this YouTube podcast down. And so if you were with me last week for Environmental Freedom Thursday, you may have set some intentions with me. And what I want you to do is go back and reflect on the week that you've had in terms of your environment, in terms of traveling while you teach, working online. I'm actually in an environment that I didn't know that I would be in last Thursday. And so that is amazing. So I'm traveling while I teach, and I thought that I would be in the same location when I was hosting the second of the Binge Watch Wednesdays for season 1 of the Spiritual Awakening Annual YouTube Summit. And I'm not. So it's been really nice. And the environment has been very peaceful and very quiet. And I've been out in nature, and I didn't even know. Well, I kind of set the intentions, but it's just been really, really nice to be in a different environment. I've been staying in London before getting ready to travel while I teach all over the world. And I came back to closer to where I'd been living for 11 years. And so I've been staying with a friend, staying with a soulmate connection. And it's been really interesting. And I'm going to talk about that more on Fridays, because I want to share my highs, my lows, my successes, my failures, my all the things as in real time as I move through things, as I manifest what is on my vision board, and I journal it out. And some people say, don't share your message. Your mess is your message, but don't share while you're moving through things. But right now, I'm in a space where, sharing the spiritual awakening for me as it happens, and shifting and sharing my spiritual alchemy process, and sharing my spiritual ascension feels amazing. And it's not that things get to me the way that they had got to me, like to knock me off course. Right now, I'm a lady who is 50. I'm still experiencing hormonal things, and I want to share those things. Not that you want to know everything, but I'll share more about the Seven Freedoms Frequency and who I'm being. and what traveling while I teach and being online and teaching online actually has been for me. This is my journaling. As the founder of the Soul Legacy Academy, I call it the Soul Legacy Journal. And so this is me capturing my journey and supporting myself. And so this is my job. I turn up every single day and I speak things into existence. I call it soul speaking into existence. And I support my students. This is actually being streamed out in the Soul Legacy Academy. And so I have a 2-hour monthly coaching call around the Seven Freedoms frequency. And it's just amazing. I get to walk my talk, practice what I preach. And so whatever's going on for me right now in this moment, it ends up being my content, and it ends up being a point of conversation. So the way that I break this podcast down is into those 7 parts. And so the Seven Freedoms frequency is about me living an intentional life and us coming together to set our intentions. And so we know the power of intentions. And one of my guests had said yesterday, I believe it was Casey, who said, remember the power of intention. I'm like, yeah, because we're living the intentional living codes. And so if you don't know, the 7 freedoms is a way for me to describe what I call the intentional living codes, the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency. So that's long. So I just say the 7 freedoms. And the frequency of our intentions, the frequency of our vision in these 7 areas of our life require us to be a version of ourselves who is in vibrational alignment. No, we talk about the law of attraction, y'all, but we talk about the law of vibration, which means that you have to take accountability and responsibility for the way that you feel and the vibration that you are emitting in the world. And I'm seeing that more now, more than ever. And it's exciting to me because I am taking responsibility for how I feel and taking responsibility for the judgment of others when they don't appear to be vibing high. I want to say that. So your girl is a little bit hormonal, and that when for me is when I would say that I'm not at my best. I get a little bit emotional depending on the environments that I'm in. And I am a little bit sensitive. I'm a sensitive soul. And as an empath, I tend to feel people's feelings. And so I'm like, oh, this is where I get to really detach from other people's feelings and other people's judgment. And I actually get to manage my own expectations of myself. And so I just got off a call with my daughter, who is in a different environment. She's actually out in Greece right now. And yeah, and she'd said, I rang you in, like, it was quite late, and I was like, oh, I've gutted that I didn't answer the call, but we got to chat, and seeing her on holiday and me being, here in the UK, it's wonderful to see people just enjoy different environments. And I remember why I want to travel while I teach, when she showed me this resort in Greece. And so I wanted a level of freedom for my environment. And I know that we are not taught that in schools and in college, like, build a business as an option. It's like, go out and get a job, 9 to 5 or nights now or shifts or whatever that is. And as a spiritual entrepreneur who has a movement, that just was not going to cut it for me. And so being able to share with my daughter, actually, this is what Mama's passionate about. This is the movement. And actually be a role model and go for it. It feels absolutely amazing to me. And to know that she's watching me. She's watching me. So I'm launching Leading and Leaving My Soul Legacy in a way that I would love her to have that level of freedom when she's ready to have that level of freedom. And I'll talk about relationships more on Relationship Freedom Friday. So again, with this Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, and being the host of the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with me, Iona Meade, it is about what is success. What does that mean for me? And having the conversation with my daughter again about relationships and about different environments and different things. I'm not going to disclose all of what she was discussing with me. but it really just highlights that when you go on a certain path, no matter what level of success that you think you have, what your legacy is the legacy of how you make people feel when they come into your environment. And I'm learning that so much. Being a spiritual digital nomad and, not essentially having a home and traveling while I teach and setting the intention to travel and being in different environments and being in different people's homes, essentially, it's teaching me, one, people do things in their different environments. That's their home. And two, it's like, okay, well, having a home in a specific place is amazing. But traveling while I teach, I'm like, oh, that feels lit to me. And building a business of being able to do that feels wonderful. Like, I'm like, oh, this is what it was about. So I want to break the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast down as I do, and I'm 10 minutes in, and if you are new to me, we are gonna do the work together, because I don't think that everybody really does the work that they say they are doing. That is what I've noticed. I noticed that there's not as many people walking their talk, and if that is calling you out, it's calling you out. It's a little bit of tough love. I'm known for my tough love, and I want to reach the people who are ready to walk their talk and not to put on a false face, because as spiritual entrepreneurs, as light workers, there's many of us that are behind closed doors feeling fake and feeling like a fraud and feeling like an imposter, because we're not walking our talk and we are being fake online and presenting ourselves in a certain way in environments that are in social media, because we feel like we've got to act a certain way. And that for me doesn't feel good. It actually, I want to inspire you're listening to this, to be you, to be yourself, no matter what. So this is my job. And I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. I was like, oh, wow, I get to do this. And I know that so many people are like, I'm too busy to do that. But yet they go and they work for other people and don't pay attention to building their business, and they're in environments that don't create that life work balance. And I'm like, oh, I couldn't think of anything worse. I would rather be here with you for an hour a day and share my truth. I've found my voice, and I'm going to share with you. I'm going to get into the episode, don't worry. This is a book, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, it's by a guy called Richard Newman. You get the results. Sorry, you were born to speak. Get the results, reactions, and respect you deserve every time you speak. So what's holding you back? So it's called You Were Born to Speak. Now, this book, I'm going to talk about the book at the end, but every single day as an author, I love listening to audible books or reading a book. And the environment that I am in, this says, have you struggled to influence people in a meeting into your presentation? Or maybe you feel stressed about a standing ovation. Now, I have been like, oh gosh, I'm not getting on the stage. I'm terrified of public speaking, that environment. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm okay with virtual stage now, but I used to be terrified of that. And then I came across one of my guests, one of my speakers, who I'm going to be featuring on her summit, the Stop Writing, Start Selling Summit, Brenda Aldman. And she's an award-winning actress. She started a one-woman show today, I think it is, for the first time in a couple of years. And she is teaching acting. And I was like, oh. And so I came across this book. Being in this environment, I actually bought this book. But the first time I came across this book, I was working in this environment, but I was living in my house that I'd been living in for almost 11 years. And I was like, you were born to speak. And this book influenced me writing my book, Speaking Virtually. And it impacted me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hadn't written my book. Now I've written my book. It's on Amazon if you want to get it. And I'm like, oh, wow. And in it, the guy says about acting. He went to learn how to speak and he actually went to acting class. And I was like, oh, because acting has just come into my world. And the way that this book has just come and presented as the book today, because usually I listen to Atomic Habits, is like I say, that soulmate connection. And being here, I didn't even think I would be here. But when I was here, when I first came across this book, again, synchronicities. And so being here, I was getting in the bath and I was like, have you got a book that, I can read? And he gave me this book. And I was like, no, I don't. I've got that book. I got it the last time. And I read it. I was reading it in the bath. And inside it, so I was going to save this till the end of the episode, but, I'm here now. So in it, he says about the acting and that you were born to speak, because I believe that we're born to speak as we have a movement and a message, right? And I'm launching the spiritual awakening stories. And I'm going to try and get to the part where I'm like, oh, just this sentence. I'll tell you what it said. So he says, share your voice and shine your light. And I'm like, oh, I'm absolutely stealing that. Share your voice and shine your light. As I hosted the first of the 6 episodes for October for the Spiritual Awakening Annual YouTube Summit, which is a bunch of fun. I'm like, oh, that's what I'm going to put at the ending. Share your voice and shine your light. I love that because we go through so many dark times behind closed doors and we, suffer in silence. And I've noticed just how many people are not happy within themselves. And when we're not happy within ourselves, it comes across to other people when we engage. I've set the intention to hold space and have anyone that comes into my environment, you that come into, feel my vibration and leave better than when you first came in, right? And same for the Soul Legacy Academy. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I know now I was absolutely born to speak. I cannot wait to do my TED Talk, get into Brenda's acting class next year and take the stage by storm. Like, wow, I have a movement inside of me. And I know that my students have a movement inside of them, but they don't know how to voice it and to get their gifts out there. And I'm like, oh, that's what it is. Because when you do not have a purpose, you have not found your voice, you're not in tune with that, and you're not yet comfortable speaking your truth. For me, that's kind of like a loss. Do you know what I mean? That's like a loss. Like that's for me is a waste. It's a wasted opportunity to really make our difference in the world. And so I get it. I'm like, oh, I get it. Like as a spiritual entrepreneur, as a light worker, like, yeah, sit in that darkness for a while, marinate, get your lessons, and then absolutely get out there and share your voice and shine your light. So, this episode is about raising a vibration in every single area of your life and living your best life so that you can travel while you teach. As a spiritual entrepreneur, as a light worker, my belly's like rumbling. I'm fasting. I feel amazing. These last few days that I didn't know I would have outside of London, because my daughter's like, Mum, there's so many opportunities in London, and I believe that there are, but I wouldn't want to live there. That's not my place. Like on my vision board, it's not my place to live. And I see the contrast now. Excuse me. And I also see that getting up and working without being kind of really truly prepared, like one suitcase and like what I didn't need. I forgot my journal, and like having my ring light as a stand, that's like essential. So wherever I go in the world, it's like, dude, can you take a ring light on the plane just like that? Like wherever I go, my ring light, my stand, and my phone. and understanding. Literally traveling while I teach is like, and doing a podcast and just running my business and, getting on calls and running the mastermind. And I can't wait to like run retreats and see people in person. And I'm like, oh, this is what it really feels like, like when you have the vision on your vision board and then it's like, oh, I feel a level of freedom. And I looked in the mirror today. My daughter said, Mum, you look great. So I took a picture and posted it on Facebook just in my green t-shirt because I just feel really good. I feel 50 feels amazing on me. 50 feels amazing on me. It really does. So let me dive into today's episode. I think that I'll just share what I need to share and go with it. And thank you for being here with me. So we're going to rate our vibrational frequency. I think you might be able to tell. I don't know what my rating was, last week because I haven't got my journal. I think it might have been a 10. I think health and environment were a 10. It's definitely 11. It's definitely an 11. So we're going to rate our vibrational frequency today. We're going to talk about your vision board, vision and visualization and feeling the vision and notice what you're manifesting in terms of your environmental freedom. We're going to express gratitude today. We're going to talk about how you launch your day, how you lead your day and leave your day. We're going to talk about your next soul-guided action steps and what you've been doing. Like, let's match up with the vibration. Then in segment 6, we're going to talk about the soul income game. And in segment 8, I was going to talk about the book, but I kind of have. And I'm going to show you the card that I pulled today, which is a card from, I'm trying to get it out of the box, from Keepers of the Light. This is a good one. And if you can hear, my microphone is quite near my stomach. I'm fasting. I fast in the mornings and then eat in the afternoon. And that is been amazing for me. Soul income game, banking 50k in 50 days. I have a challenge for you, so stick around for that. And then I'm going to invite you to the Spiritual Business YouTubers Network to come and co-create and collaborate and cross-promote and get your gifts out there. It's for spiritual entrepreneurs who have a movement. And you know what? Since I made this call even more specific and I removed the title, I removed myself from the environment of spiritual business women who were probably not really in business and pretending to be in business, I would say for the most part. Just going to say that. And since I've actually named the call and the community that, it's been less active. And I'm like, oh, I've really niched down. I've really niched down. This is a community where, people can't come and pretend that they have a movement. I'm calling people out and I will say, come and connect, co-create and collaborate. If you have a podcast, you have a YouTube podcast, but listen, having a movement and being in alignment with your purpose is not a let's pretend. This is an environment that I call in spiritual entrepreneurs. My daughter's just sent me a message. That is funny. That is absolutely funny. I can't share what she just said, but yeah, after continuing on our conversation, amazing. I love my daughter so much. All right, so let's talk about your vibrational frequency. How do you feel? If nobody's asked you today, how do you feel? I feel lit. I feel actually amazing. Wow. Okay. All right. Oops. Apologies. I'm getting messages and being distracted because I am on my phone and my daughter's my life. So I'm just making sure she's okay. But all right, so let's rate your vibe. Let's pay attention to you. What's your vibration today? How you feeling? If nobody's asked you, hey, love, how are you? How are you? I hope you are feeling great. I hope you are feeling great. Let's rate our vibration between 1 and 11. The 1 being, we're in a bit of soul funk and we're blocking stuff. I was going to say blocking, but we're in soul flow. And I have to say, girl is in soul flow. And it feels amazing. It feels amazing that no matter what's going on, I feel amazing. And that's taken a lot to get here, a lot of intention setting. And if you don't feel that way, then that's okay. So a lot of, in the coaching industry, we have seen the wheel of life where we rate between a 0 and a 10. For me, I use the soul legacy wheel. I devised the soul legacy wheel. And I don't believe that we should get a 0. We get a 1 because you're breathing. Let's start with gratitude. And 11 is that connection to source. Excuse me, your higher self, soul, guidance, whatever you want to call it, that flow. That, like, I can look in my eyes and see my soul. No matter what this physical body is doing, there's a level of appreciation. It's big. It is big and it's real. If you're feeling some type of way, then I invite you to come back next Thursday, set the intention, set the energy forth, and the external circumstances, my external circumstances flipped out for the week or for a few days. I think it was Tuesday I came. And we'd set the intention, I think, on the Sunday. And that manifestation, I was on the dating app as I was sharing, and I was like, 1, 2, 3, manifest my soulmate. Well, it wasn't a new soulmate. It was an old soulmate. And I'm back to, you were born to speak, Iona. And I'm like, oh, okay, on stage, obviously. And I will do my TED talk, and it feels amazing. But yeah, and this environment has elevated me to a new level, because there's just that reminder. And the universe will conspire and bring everything and everyone to you that you need along your path. And I love it. I love it. I'm not attached to the outcome. Yeah. And how things flow to me. Not attached to that. It's lovely. So 1 to 11, rate between a 1 and 11. Are you in alignment with your North Star values? Absolutely. With traveling while I teach, being in that environment. The environment that we start with is in here, internally, and then what we see on the outside. I'm ecstatic to share with you each and every single week, to hold myself accountable for raising my vibration, and for all of the lessons that I get every single day and every single week. My belly is rumbling. So how are you feeling? Really sit with that vibration. How in flow? Because I listened and I was like, do you know what? Will I go? Will I just stay where I am and everything? I've got my big fat Mac to work on. Everything's not all done. I even forgot my journal, although I was trying hard not to. I was using it before I left, and all those things. And then because I'm like, oh well, I can't. Is there going to be a different background and blah blah blah? And I've just got. And I'm like, you know what? I only just go with the flow. And I'm like, what if it doesn't go right? Because I've got the summit and it's 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. And I'm like, is go with it. And it made me see that actually traveling while you teach and having that level of freedom is amazing. So no matter where I am in the world, just having my phone and I've got my laptop with me, just having a sip of coffee, and I see, because I'm streaming this out, excuse me, on my YouTube channel, it's a YouTube podcast, and streaming it out on all of social. I just see people scrolling and staying on for a little while and then hopping off. And one of the ways that helps me keep real is knowing that this is streaming live. Not everybody wants to do that. People want to sit down and edit their stuff, and I don't believe in editing. I don't have time for it. Like, I literally do not have time to sit there and edit my voice. Share your voice and shine your light is share your voice raw and real in my world, and shine your light by being you and not editing. Like, if I'm sat across you, I don't have a chance to edit, and so I do the summit live. I do everything live. It's not that I won't ever record a video, but I do everything live because I love, like, repurposing everything. I'm in this environment, and I'm streaming out on my YouTube channel, streaming out on all of the socials. You're scrolling, and then I'll turn it into my podcast. Like, there's nobody teaching it because everybody wants to be perfect in every environment that they're in on social media. And I'm done with that. I let go of perfectionism a long, long, long time ago. And as the founder of the Soul Legacy Academy, in that environment, I want to teach you how to launch, lead, and leave your soul legacy, and do it with ease, grace, and flow, and not worry when you travel while you teach. Who's got time to sit there editing this and editing that and making this polished? Nobody even watched it. Like two people were just on here as I was speaking. Two people have hopped off. Like, it doesn't matter. I'll be here. You'll listen, and great. This is in my Soul Legacy Academy for my students. It's just beautiful. How do you feel about your purpose and your movement and the environments that you are in? This is in my private student community already. People can watch it, and people will know, oh, Iona's going live. Oh, Iona is being there. This is the legacy that I wanted to leave. And that makes me feel amazing that I'm stepping into and being that version of me, because there's so many people that are fake. I'm just gonna say it how it is. And it's not because, they're being fake. They're being fake, not fake people, but being fake. Because we believe that we need to be perfect, and we have beliefs that this, that, this, that. And I'm so done with that. And I don't want to be around people that feel that they need to be fake and cannot be raw and real. Done with that. It's time, and I make a stand for it. So let's talk about your vision board in this next segment. Visualize you where you want to be on your vision board. So I have a 7-day spiritual business vision board challenge for more life work balance on my YouTube channel. You'll see it in the playlist and in the cards, etc., and in the description, in the show notes, to create the vision that you want to experience for your life in this lifetime. And no, we don't pass over and say, yeah, I'm too busy to create the life that I actually want to have. It's in that moment that you absolutely want to go and check out the show notes and say, oh, let me do this vision board challenge because life is pushing and pulling me, right? Because so many people give lip service to what it is that they say that they want, to their dream. And in fact, they don't even get clarity on the dream, because that means that they would have to go for it. That means they might fail along the way. Guaranteed they'll fail along the way. That means that people will see that they're not perfect, right? So when we talk about our vision board in terms of freedom and the environmental freedom and having the freedom to travel while you teach, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some work to birth your ideas, to record your ideas, to create passive income streams, to duplicate you. and put you in an environment where you're writing, you've got your book and you've got your online course, and I teach all of that. And I teach it in a way that goes so deep, and people are like, oh, Iona, like, can you just give me a quick fix? And I can't, because there isn't one. And you know it because you've been in environments where people have told you, just pay me 50 grand, pay me 30 grand, pay me 10 grand, and I'll fix all of your problems in 2 minutes. It's not the environments I want to be in. I want to be in environments where we can create a loving environment and be patient enough to build a firm foundation. So as a spiritual entrepreneur with a movement who has a vision to make a difference in the world, what I want to do is support you in that, creating that life work balance. But you know why? Because I see so many people that don't have life work balance, like for real. Like it's not the norm. It's not the norm. And I'm like, wow, being on the dating app and seeing and, attracting my person, my husband, I'm like, wow. I just updated my profile on Bumble again to just speak to that work-life balance and that freedom. I'm not interested. It's so much contrast. And I've been brought back to this environment to feel it again, that life pushes and pulls you. He's got a week off, so it's like lovely. So we've been able to spend that time. But then it's wanting and wishing that you can be self-employed and not knowing how. And I'm really, really excited because I've come so far in terms of reaching the people that I'm here to serve, knowing how to reach the people that I'm here to serve, and creating an environment online that affords me freedom, and not and shutting off all other options. Like it's do or die. Do you know what I mean? Like it's believe in your vision. And I think that so many of us don't believe in our vision. And I was at that place where I read a book by Claude D. Bristol called The Magic of Believing. And I realized that people did not believe in me, that were around me. They're like, yes, you can't do that. It's been years, since I've been on this journey. And I realized that I needed to believe in me. I needed to believe in me. I needed to believe in the vision that I wanted to create. I wanted to create that life work balance so that as I'm contributing health freedom, emotional freedom, environmental freedom, relationship freedom, spiritual freedom, and financial freedom, I wanted all of those freedoms on my vision board. And creating the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast is a way to speak into that every single day and manifest in a way that I get to see. I get to journal it out. I get to do this video journal, talk to myself essentially. When I talk back to me, talk back to the version of me that sees myself in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 7 years. I've scheduled my business out for 7 years. And people are like, what? Well, do you plan to do what you're doing now in 7 years' time? Like, are you planning to be retired? Are you planning to do a different job? We sign a contract for a job, right? My twin flame, had a plan. They planned out their work schedule at the hospital for like 5 years. It's like they had comfort in that structure. And as spiritual entrepreneurs, when we own our own business, we're not committed to doing the work in our own business. Essentially, we're our own employee. So not committing to 7 years is like, well, why are you building a business? What are you going to do? Sell it? Exit it? What else are you going to do? I say create the business that you absolutely love, that you never want to retire from. I totally don't want to retire. And I do have the space where somebody else can take over a lot of the things that I'm doing as team. Excuse me. And that feels amazing. And that feels freeing. I don't feel chained to my business. I think working in an environment for someone else is never going to be something that I love and I set the intention for myself, like I just does not feel good for me. It doesn't. And it doesn't for many of us. And I'm not saying that nobody needs to have a job. Of course they do. But as a light worker and a spiritual entrepreneur, when you know that you're made for more, it's like go about the business of creating what it is that you really want, like from the jump, from the get-go. And so, having that freedom feels amazing. It really does. All right. So, gratitude. Express gratitude. How we launch our day, lead our day, and leave our day. Now, I like to say I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate. And if you don't feel like, oh, I'm not really grateful, I can't really appreciate something that's going on now, think of something in the past, think of something in the present, think of something in the future. So I'm going to bring this, what I call the Seven Freedoms Frequency vibration, the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency, so we can rise and reside at that frequency now. And so I'm going to think of the seven freedoms, the contribution freedom. On Mondays, I talk about health freedom. On Tuesdays, emotional freedom. On Wednesdays, environmental freedom. On Thursdays, relationship freedom. On Fridays, spiritual freedom. On Saturday, and financial freedom on Sunday. Each area of my life deserves that attention, I believe, and expressing that gratitude and saying thank you to the universe for all the things that I've experienced is amazing. It feels amazing. So I'm happy and I'm grateful. And I appreciate, in terms of my contribution, doing the Spiritual Awakening and the YouTube Summit yesterday. I'm really happy and grateful that I've got to do that, and I followed through and I managed to get it done. I had techie stuff. It wasn't loading. It wasn't doing all the most, and I'm in a different environment, and it was kind of upsetting. And I got emotional because I'm hormonal and all the things. And I went on and I did it anyway, right? And so I'm happy and I'm grateful for being able to contribute, right? And sow seeds for people that I don't even know that will be hearing that. For my health, I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate eating clean 80% of the time. I'm so happy and grateful for that. Loved it. I have like being in this different environment, and we went shopping when I first got here, and I was like, okay, what do you want to eat? Like, I'm like, I don't know. So I've had a bottle of red wine that I hadn't had in since I went to London, like the last 2-3 months, whatever, and that felt really nice. It was nice. And then to eat, I eat primarily plant-based. So I had just some corn and some broccoli, and I bought sweet potatoes, and I didn't actually eat them. I don't actually fancy them, and I actually feel amazing for it. So I was like, oh, so probably I had potato chips like crisps because I'm hormonal. That's my go-to thing. But I reckon that my body is in more of a closer state to ketosis than it usually is, and that feels really high. I feel high. We had gone to. I talked about going to the gym. We did go to the gym, and it's freezing. After we went for a meal, which was a really lovely environment to be in. So I'm happy and grateful for that. To go for a meal. Yeah, and I chose on the menu something really great that was in alignment with my health freedom. So that was lovely. I'm happy and I'm grateful, and I appreciate just emotionally loving me and knowing that, when my hormones kick in, like, apologizing where I need to apologize for being hormonal, and not for actually being hormonal, but just for the way that things are delivered, or being more sensitive at that time, or whatever that is. And then working and processing to the point where I don't get to that judgmental, nasty phase of like, you're like this, and seeing the good and shining the light on myself and others. That's a process. And I find it harder when I'm hormonal. So I'm happy and I'm grateful and appreciate that emotionally I can process pretty quickly. I love that. So I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate the environment that I'm in. Like I say, going for dinner, being out in nature, having a walk, and then doing my work, right? And so, having time with someone. So for the relationship freedom, so having time with someone that I didn't think that I was going to have time with this week, and spending time out in nature and going out for dinner. And I like male company anyway. And so it's been really, really nice. And getting really lovely hugs and stuff. It's been lovely. And again, it showed me the contrast for relationships. I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate that I've had the contrast again to bring up like who it is that is my life partner, who it is that is my man that's on my vision board, that soulmate, that love connection. Like, I'm really happy and grateful for that. Because the universe is just showing me so much, in contrast, but in great experiences as well. So I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate this environment. I really do. It's like, it's a little place, but it's lovely. There's something about it that makes me feel at peace. And being with somebody that is bugs me, bugs me. I bug him, um, but I can hug and share a warm exchange anyway, and probably will always exchange that warm exchange because there's something. So that's really nice. I'm happy and grateful for that. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate spiritually. Oh my gosh, just bringing me back to the book, right? Laying in the bath, reading the book, You Were Born to Speak. Hello, this is not by accident. Just sitting on this sofa again and knowing that the last time I sat here, I was actually fostering 3 children and I was trying to escape, and my daughter was looking after the kids. So I could write and focus on my work and my book, and it didn't really transpire the way that I thought it would. And then coming back and being reminded of just how far I've come. It's weird because I don't have the home that I have, and I don't live with my daughter now, and she's out in Greece, and we've just had a conversation. Life will keep lifing, right? Life will keep lifing. And just because we know about the universal laws, it doesn't mean to say that we're not manifesting in every single moment. I love that. So I'm happy and I'm grateful for being aware that my emotions manifest my experience. I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate the finances to be able to go and get the clean food, and also to be bought. So it was raining, the environment, it was raining yesterday. I was like, I was sneezing and stuff. I had feeling cold and stuff because it was cold. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go out to the shop. It's only over the way. And being offered, like, hey, do you want me to go? I'm like, no. Nah. And like, you want me to go? It's like, no, it's cool, I'll go. It's like, I've offered. I'm like, okay, chivalry is not dead. So just being bought what I wanted from the shop. It costs money. When you think, oh, well, I'd like this. I had snacks. I'd like this and I'd like that. And for them to be just handed to me, it's a little thing, but it's lovely. It's so lovely. So I'm happy and grateful and appreciate that. It's the little things that really light me up. So let me keep going to the next segment. So how we launch our day, lead our day, and leave our day, right? How are you launching your day, leading your day, and leaving your day? Is it in alignment with your vision board? Is it in alignment with your vision and your mission? Is it in alignment with sharing your voice? Is it in alignment with writing your book? Is it in alignment with creating your course? Is it in alignment with doing your podcast and your YouTube? Is it in alignment with going out there and getting featured in the media? Is it in whatever you want to do? Working online and traveling while you teach. How can you put more emphasis on that? For me, this next week, between now and next Thursday, I'm doubling down on the online. And so all of my actions will be based on the follow-up for this podcast, like downloading the episodes for the summit, and creating the teaching online, so that is handled and taken care of next week. So I can launch my day, lead my day, and leave my day with more freedom in terms of traveling while I teach. It's like, yeah, I'm on it, and collaborating. So, how are you launching your day? What environments do you want to be in? So the next segment is like committing to three things. Visualizing, I know exactly how I want to launch and leave my day next week, over this next 7 days. And it does look like doubling down. It looks like doubling down. Your girl's going to be on it. Still going out for a walk in nature, but doubling down. I don't scroll on social media really very much. I use social media very, very intentionally. So I have a bunch of time to decide what I'm going to do with my 24 hours. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. And I probably will have calls. I may be going out for coffee with a new friend of mine. So I'm going to look at the picture that I have and make sure I've got calls where they need to be and all those things to push the needle forward to traveling while I teach and teaching online. Excited about that. Okay, the Soul Income Game for the next segment. So the Soul Legacy Journal, I'm the founder of the Soul Legacy Academy, is a journal where I visualize and I soul speak into existence. And so I decided to play the Bank 50K in 50 Days challenge and do it vibrationally first. So this is where you're going to need to have created your vision board challenge for this to make sense. So the vision board challenge is for spiritual entrepreneurs who want to use a little vibration. And you have a movement inside of you, but you don't want to just be contributing and not receiving financial freedom. You're good with receiving and replacing your income. Hello, right? And you're good with serving to the level of service where you can reach your high paying one-to-many sell clients. Absolutely, because you're gifted. And so the Bank 50K 50 Days challenge is where the Soul Legacy Journal gives you £1,000, dollars, or euros every single day. And you spend it. You tithe 10% to a worthy cause. My worthy cause is cruise bereavement. No, not cruise bereavement. Compassionate Friends. I've got a phone call actually on tomorrow with kinship fostering, actually, and volunteering for them. So cruise bereavement care, Compassionate Friends, and kinship fostering are organizations that I want to do more for. And it's not just in terms of time, it's in terms of money. So what's the worthy cause that you would tithe? 10%. And I mean tithing 10%. Like when you've got it, you put that out there. And then when you've got it, you actually do it. Right. And so we want to come from the space that your bills are all taken care of. You're not hoarding the money, you're actually spending it. So what would you spend your vibrational money voucher on? What would you spend your money on? Like actually go and visualize and do the things that would increase your environment. And I will spend my vibrational money voucher on Sunday. And let's just see. I don't know what I'm going to spend it on. Probably, I was thinking about this last night. No, I'm not even going to say. I'll let you know on Sunday. Listen to, don't know what is this one? Is it 11? Is it? I think it's 11 today. It might be 14. I don't know. So anyway, Sunday. Follow along, skip along, right, on the YouTube channel or the what have you. Whatever episode this is on Sunday. This is Thursday. On Sunday, I will reveal all. So play the Soul Income Game with me and be in alignment with contribution and duplicating your services, duplicating what you're doing so that you don't have to trade time for money. And if you want some support with this, I have the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Masterclass that happens on the last Monday of the month at 3 p.m. UK time. That's me being in alignment, being, serving. It's a 4-hour training. And then I have a free chapter group coaching VIP day after for those who have read a free chapter of my book. All right. So we actually do a framework of your business, the way you can bank for 50 days at different price points where you're not outpricing people and you feel good about it. All right. So we've done the book already. You Were Born to Speak. And the card for today, and then I'm going to leave you with the invitation to my monthly call because it's lit and I've still managed to just be around an hour, which I love. So this is a card from Keepers of the Light that I pulled today. I was like shuffling. I'm like, okay, Environmental Freedom Thursday. What do we need? Paul the Venetian, experiencing grace. Oh, this was me today. Share your gifts with grace. Have I been graceful today? Share your grace with grace, yeah. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. They are. They really are. Thank you. That was for me. That was for you. All right. Last thing. Down in the show notes, in the description of this YouTube podcast at the Soul Legacy TV with me, Iona Meade, is a link to get on the monthly call on the first Monday of the month. Get on the call, continue on this conversation. If you are a spiritual entrepreneur who wants to co-create, connect, collaborate, and cross-promote, whether that's with me, whether that's with fellow like-minded, soul-guided influencers, I'm going to call you out to show up and speak out and serve deep, to be a guest and find a guest, to not do this alone, to be ready to feature and to speak online because you were born to speak. I believe so. This is the book that that inspired me to write in my book. You were born to serve. You were born to serve. Shine your light and share your voice. No, you were born to serve. Share your voice and shine your light. Boom. All right. Okay. Come to the monthly call if I haven't met you. Share this out. Invite somebody else in. And if you're too busy and you're like, yeah, nah, then you probably need that call even more because we're not about to be busy. That's not the life that you actually, that's programming, right? We talk about programming. We talk about, we want freedom, but really we're pushed and pulled by life and we're scrolling on social media for several hours a day. It's a 90-minute call. I would love to see you on the call. I would love to support you in building a life purpose-led driven business. If you are someone who wants to get on YouTube, wants to get on camera, maybe you're a bit scared about it, but you're ready because it's time to organize yourself. I love being so organized and it's free. It gives you a level of freedom. You know, as spiritual entrepreneurs, as we're like, yeah, I don't want to then be fit in a box. I don't want to then commit to this. And chaos unfolds in our life. It's time to be more organized, to give yourself more freedom, schedule out your business. And you do not want to be trading time for money. Absolutely not. Not as your only source of income. If you resonate with creating passive soul client income streams and leverage soul client income streams, come to the monthly call. I have a free chapter of my book, Spiritual YouTubers from Scratch, a soul guided influencer's compass to leverage your light work and lifestyle on YouTube. That is what I want for you. That is me. I know that you're on here. So share this out. Go back to the beginning of the episode and let me know how you find it. And I look forward to seeing you on the monthly call. Big love. Share your light and shine. No, share your voice and shine your light. Big love. Take care.